Tonight's topic, childhood obesity. I kid, it's Donald Trump. And that awesome lid.
I don't know if you saw the poll, but they just did a big poll in Nevada, the state of Nevada. And I'm way ahead. And more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, I'm way ahead with the Hispanics, well into the 30s, which, and I think second is like 11.
Well done, Trump. Judah Friedlander, call your lawyer. What say you, Rand Paul, whose polls are evaporating faster than hair gel in a hot car? A chainsaw, how very Trump. And what of gentleman bachelor Lindsey Graham, our generation's Felix Unger? Enter Trump.
He gave me his number, and I found the card. I wrote the number down. I don't know if it's the right number. Let's try it. 202-228. I don't know. Maybe it's, it's 3-4 years ago, so maybe it's an old number.
Nah, it's the same one. But here comes Graham with a cam. Back to Trump. What will Donald give out next? Ben Carson's ATM number? Chris Christie's Sloman's Shield code for the governor's mansion? Marco Rubio's gym locker combination? Speaking of, where is Rubio? There he is, doing Trump.
We already have a president now that has no class. It is important for us to have a presidency that restores dignity and class to the White House. And I don't believe that some of the language that Mr. Trump is employing is worthy of the office. I just do not.
Well, that's more chump than Trump. But you know who really trumps Trump? Slick Rick.
He offers a barking carnival act that can best be described as Trumpism. A toxic mix of demagoguery and mean-spiritedness and nonsense that will lead the Republican Party to perdition if pursued. Let no one be mistaken. Donald Trump's candidacy is a cancer on conservatism, and it must be clearly diagnosed, excised, and discarded.
That's a metaphor. And so, like a personality strain of Ebola, everybody's catching Trumpitis for fear they'll fade like yesterday's Santorum. And that's the Trump show, where suddenly everyone is brash and raw. You get chainsaws, fire, meat cleavers, and name-calling. It's no campaign. It's the housewives of the RNC. All that's missing is the gay best friend. But really, this Trump versus the Republicans, it's a sibling squabble of he hit me first. So why this internal beef? Well, the problem with conservatives is we hate government, so we end up even hating conservatives in government, including war heroes. We disdain bureaucracy, preferring to stand outside and heckle. Trump has momentum because he's that heckler, roasting his peers like Peking duck. But what if he wins? If you look at Donald's past, he changes positions more often than an indecisive porn star. So who are you going to yell at then when the guy you love so much becomes the guy you loathe? Because when it's the Trump show, you're just another extra, and it's highly unlikely he'll even remember you. Period. All right, joining me tonight, she's so hot, she gives the sun a Dana Lash sunburn. It's Dana Lash, host of the syndicated radio show, The Dana Show, and Dana on the Blaze. And he's so sharp, he's not allowed near condom factories. It's Tony Saye, Republican strategist and Fox News contributor. All right, so Dana, I want to go to you first. He's obviously making a huge splash. I'm wondering, however, if this is just it's kind of a natural advantage when you're dealing with conservatives who already hate government.
No, I think I love your monologue, by the way, because I think it's spot on. This is turning into Troll 16 instead of deciding who's going to be in the White House. It's Mean Girls 2. People are angry, though, and they don't want a boring focus group tested primary. And so really, I think he who slaps the hardest or she who slaps the hardest that's the person who's going to win in 2016. And I wish some of these other candidates would wake up and realize that they don't have to be so careful and kittens and sunshine with their speech all of the time. But I think it's more the message than the record at this point. I mean, we still have, a year to be completely disappointed by everybody else. So there's time.
That's true. You know, Tony, we've got a year, which means by this time next year, all the candidates could be mud wrestling naked in a giant, cage. The way this is going.
That would be disgusting. Thank you for that image, by the way. Look, I mean, getting to understand Trump's appeal because of his irreverent confidence, combativeness, the kind of candor that, as Dana says, a lot of these other guys lack, that's understandable. But the question I ask is this the guy that we want to be the champion, the voice of modern conservatism? I mean, you talk about the fact that we have all these Republican primary voters who they like the fact that he's irreverent and that he's loud, but at the same time, they don't like big government. Donald Trump was the poster child for crony capitalism, big government programs, taxpayer-funded projects for his construction and developments, which I love, by the way, here in New York. The guy declared bankruptcy 4 times. Is this the guy we're putting forward?
Wait, you know, Dana, he makes a very good point about their shifting positions. You wrote a very pro-gun book. I think it was called Hands Off My Gun. You know that Donald has expressed very strong gun control beliefs. Are you worried that at some point he's going to return to that?
I don't know what to think about Trump. I mean, he also told me Tuesday that he was never going to run as a third-party candidate. And then Thursday, he tells The Hill, well, you know, if Republicans don't treat me nice, I may run as a third-party candidate. I think he is just as shocked as anybody else that he is this far ahead in the polls. His record, to me, what it seems, I don't believe that he is a conservative. I don't. And I don't believe that he has a conservative record. I like the disruption, though, and I think he's sort of a Rorschach test. At least myself and everybody else who's watching this, we're sort of sitting back thinking, okay, well, is he going to maybe incite some of these other candidates to respond with the same force and fury? But you're right on this. I mean, gun control, he's told me that he has a concealed carry permit for New York and that he carries in New York. But then in the past, you know, he's said some different statements. So I don't know if he's come around or who knows? I mean, who knows what the guy thinks? The voters will decide it.
Tony, last word to you.
I'm all for disruption. I want more excitement. I want some of these guys to stand up to the plate and give us something to be inspired by. I don't disagree. But at the end of the day, you have this situation now where all Donald Trump's campaign has boiled down to is personal insults. And I think that really hurts our candidates in the long term because some of this does end up sticking on them because comedy, as you know well, Greg, it works. And by the way, I just want to say one thing. He's saying he might run as a third-party candidate if the party doesn't treat him right. Now, all of a sudden, Donald Trump is a Fabergé egg. He has to be treated gently. We have to put him in bubble tape. Meanwhile, he's the self-anointed frontrunner. This is what happens. They go after you when you're leading the pack.
Thanks for that point, because I was just thinking that what Donald Trump is doing when he talks about a third-party candidacy, he's like the National Lampoon cover where they got the gun to the dog's head, and they're going, buy this magazine or I'll shoot this dog. And
he's a celebrity
candidate Trump is saying, support my candidacy or I'll shoot the party. Dana and Tony, thanks.